This is level J. We're doing list 13 and this is day 1. And we're looking at UR for the sound, and it's an R controlled vowel. So when we have a vowel with an R, we call them the R controlled vowel. So this is R and this is OR. These three all make the same sound. So usually we use this one at the end of a word to say someone who. So someone who runs is a runner. Someone who swims is a swimmer. Someone who dances is a dancer. This IR is used in some words for the sound. It's often used in the middle of a word, like bird, girl, etc. This UR that we're going to learn today is usually in the middle of a word too. And it can also be occasionally at the start of a word, not very often though. So what you're going to have to do, these two here are going to definitely be the hardest ones to remember. We can have occasionally ER in the middle of a word, but you've already done a list where we had ER in the middle of a word, and there's really only about 10 common words that you'd have ER in the middle. So most of the time it would be perhaps one of these two as well. So you're going to have to remember which are the IR words and which are the UR words and which are the words where we use ER in the middle. So surf is a good word to remember for the UR because it's something a lot of you know. Let's have a look at our other words that have the sound in them. We've got n, the earn, to earn, hurt, surf, curl, the erst, to urge, urge. There. So we've got some other things to look at in these words as well as the sound that we're revising. So you can see here, if we have a short word with a long vowel sound, we only put one F at the end. If we have a short word with a long vowel sound, we only put one L at the end. Here we've got the ch sound in church, and here we've got, when we have a G followed by an E, it's making the j sound. But English words can't end in J ever, so we have to use GE for the j sound at the end of a word. It's a soft sound that the letter G can make. Let's have a look at what these words mean now. So a cat has fur on it. There are many animals that have fur on them as a covering on their bodies. An urn could be a container where you put an animal's ashes after it's died, or it could be something that you heat water up and keep water hot in. Burn is when you burn a candle or a fire. It usually has a little flame to it if it's on a candle, but if it's a big bonfire or something, it's going to have lots of flames. So burn means that something is alight and there's a fire happening. Turn could mean you take a turn in a game, or that you go around a corner, you're going to turn left or right or whatever. Hurt is when you damage yourself, you hurt yourself and that you have an injury. Surf is when you go to the beach and you might surf on a board or you might body surf. So you usually need some nice big waves to push you to the shore. A curl, well, a wave can curl, but you can also have curls in your hair. You can curl a ribbon on a gift to make it look extra special. So it's a very rounded shape. Burst is when something may explode or break. So you can burst a balloon and it will pop, and so it changes the shape of the thing too. Church is a building that people go to talk to God, so there are quite a few around our towns. Urge is when you really want to try and talk someone into doing something. You're really begging them or urging them to try harder or to do something to help you or just to do anything really. Okay, let's read the words, sound the words, spell the words and write them. So we've got fur, F-U-R, F-U-R, F-U-R. So cover it, write it, and check to make sure you've spelled them correctly. Off you go. This is level J, list 13, and we're doing day 2. And here we're revising the UR for the sound. So you can see in these words we can use UR at the end of a word, at the start of a word, but more commonly in the middle of a word. Now, when we put a vowel with an R, they become the R-controlled vowels. So we have R, AR, as in car. That's a nice easy one because it's making a different sound. ER, IR and UR are all tricky because they're all making the same sound. This one's nice and easy, or, because it's saying or, like in corn. So this one, if you remember, it usually goes on the end of a word to say someone who. So someone who runs is a runner. It can be in the middle of some words, but there's not a lot of words. There's only about 10 words that we commonly use that have ER in the middle. So if you're not sure, I wouldn't probably choose this one for the sound in the middle of a word. You'll get to know which words you can use it for in the middle, but most of the time it's on the end. These two, however, are very hard to work out. So if you're not sure whether it's IR or UR, just try writing the word with an IR in it and a UR in it, and look at them and see which one looks right. Over time, you'll get to know very quickly whether it's an IR or a UR, and you won't even need to write them down to look at them. Okay, let's have a look at these words up here that we've got today. We've got fur, earn, burn, turn, hurt, surf, curl, burst, church, urge. So fur is the covering on an animal. An urn could be something that you heat water in, or it can also be sometimes where you put ashes in it from someone you love. Burn is when something has been destroyed by fire. Turn, it could be that you're going to change direction, or if you're playing a game, it means that it's another person's go. Hurt means when you're injured. Now, surf could be a noun or a verb. You can surf a wave, or when you go to the beach, you would look at the waves and you might call them the surf, like the surf looks rough today. So it could be either. A curl could be a noun or a verb too. You can see a curl in someone's hair, and you can also do that. You can make something curl. You can curl ribbon on a gift to make it look pretty, for instance. Burst is when you make something pop or explode. Church is usually a place of worship, and urge is where you really want someone to do something. So you're urging them to run faster, or to try harder, or to get everything right. So let's look at what other things we have in these words that we need to look at. So you can see that after a long vowel sound, we always put an L. Just one L, not two. We've got the CH in church. You know that when we have a j sound, we want to write a j sound at the end of a word, we have to use a GE, because English words never end with a J. So that's why we use the GE quite frequently at the end of a word. We're only using one F here for at the end of this word because we've got this long vowel sound again. If it was a short word with a short vowel sound like off, we would know to put two Fs. Now, what else have we got here? Oh, the C here, we know to use the C for the kut sound before an A, O, U, an L or an R. We use a C for the kut sound if the letter after it is one of those. That's all the tricks in those words that we need to explain today. Now let's look at reading, sounding, spelling and writing them. So we've got fur, sound it, spell it, F-U-R, cover it and write it, F-U-R, and then check to make sure that you've written it correctly. Now let's go down to here. You have to fill in the missing sound here, which of course will be UR in all of these. Here we're looking to find the meaning of these words. So to change direction would be to turn. You can finish the rest of those by reading them and filling them in on your own. Down the bottom it says, fill in the gap with the missing list word. Soon it will be my something to get on the swing. Soon it will be my turn to get on the swing. So all of the words for finishing the sentences are these words up here, and all the meanings of these for these little phrases are these words up here. Level J, list 13, day 3. We've got fur, earn, burn, turn, hurt, surf, curl, burst, church, urge. Now these are all R-controlled vowels, and the UR in all of these words is making the sound. So you have to try to remember which words have UR in them for the sound, which words have ER in them for the sound, and which words have IR in them for the sound, because they're all R-controlled vowels and they all can make that sound. Now down here we're going to go into some verb families. So here you're adding the S to the end of the base word. Here you're adding the ing, and when you're adding the ED here, you just have to be careful. So you have surfed, sounds like a T, but you know you're writing ED. Turned, just hear the D, but you've got to write ED. Curled, you just hear the D, but you know you have to write ED. Burned, same, write the ED. Now here, hurt, you can't say he hurted me yesterday, you have to say he hurt me. You're not going to change that base word at all, you're not adding anything on. The same with burst. I burst the balloon means you've already done it. You're not going to say I bursted the balloon. You're not changing it. It's going to be, the past tense is going to be the same as the base. Okay, so you can finish those on your own. None of these are going to have a double letter at the end of them because we've got a long vowel sound in that first syllable. Now finish the sentences with the list word or extensions. Lisa was something up in pain when the doctor something up. Lisa was, now we need past tense because that says it's already happened. Lisa was curled up in pain when the doctor turned up. So if it's indicating the tense was past, you must use that past tense ed. Now down here, we're looking at when we use burnt and burned. So you use burnt when you're using it as an adjective to describe a noun, and burned with the ed when you're describing past tense of a verb. So let's skip the first sentence and go down to the second one. Now it's saying what we did, so it has to be a verb here. So we burned marshmallows in the flames. That's what we did, we burned them. The something marshmallows were horrid. Now we're describing the marshmallows, so we're using it as an adjective, which would be the burnt. The burnt marshmallows were horrid. So just work out whether you're using the base word burn as an adjective or a verb, and that will help you work out which one to write. The little examples are given to you here. Now proofreading, just highlight the word spelt correctly. This is level J, list 13, and we're doing the day 4, and we're looking at sentence structure. So a simple sentence has a subject and a predicate. The subject tells who or what the sentence is about. The predicate tells us what the subject is doing. So the subject is usually written first. So we usually put who or what the sentence is about first, and then we say what they're doing. The predicate usually starts with a verb. So saw is the verb there. So highlight the subject and the predicate in different colours and underline the verb. So if we're looking for the subject, I'm going to do my subjects red. Jane is who it's about. The black cat is who it's about there. Okay, we'll just do the first two. You can do the rest on your own. The predicate tells us what the subject's doing. So Jane took her parrot to the vet. What's the verb took? The black cat crept up to the mouse. What did the black cat do? It crept up to the mouse. What's the verb? Crept is telling us how the cat moved. That's the verb. Okay, you can finish those on your own, but every sentence has to have at least a subject and a predicate, a noun and a verb. Down here you've got to join the subject and predicate, then write out 2 of the sentences. So the soldiers, you've got to find out what makes sense with that, and then write any 2 sentences here. Now, down the bottom, you've got to write 2 simple sentences. So remember, they always need a noun and a verb, or a subject and a predicate.